Okay, guys, this is a 1979 British double-decker bus. It's a Bristol VRT actually, vertical rear transverse, talking about the engine location. We used this bus in our party bus business from 2005 until 2020 when COVID knocked us out. And it's been sitting here for about 4 years in the woods behind my house, trying to figure out what to do with it. The engine is an 11-liter Gardner. So it's a British engine. So it's not a Cummins. It's not anything you're going to be familiar with. It's a naturally aspirated 6-cylinder 11-liter. This engine is massive. It's about 4 feet tall from the oil pan all the way up to the valve covers. Non-turbo. So there's your injection pump. The injection pump is in 2 halves. The cylinder banks are in 2 halves. The engine does sit crosswise across the back of the bus. The transmission it's hard to see, but it's over here on the end. It's a very bizarre, if I can get some light, it's a very bizarre setup where the transmission output shaft goes to a set of planetaries that then go down and then across to the middle to a 90-degree box and then to the rear axle. The transmission is a 5-speed auto clutch, so you have to shift, but there's no clutch pedal. So while we're back here, this is the engine door right here. And above it, where the back glass used to be, these buses never had air conditioning. And so, of course, here in Tennessee, we need it for sure. So what I did is I built an air conditioning system. So it's a Kubota 1505 series, which is about a 40 horsepower, 4-cylinder diesel, like what would have been in a Bobcat. And we come off the flywheel and we go through this PTO shaft right here. We go to a set of bearings, and then there's 4 compressors. You've got 1, 2, and then over here 3, 4, and 2 alternators. So there's 1 alternator, and there's the other one, and they make all the 12 volts needed for the condenser fans and the evaporator blowers. Now, this bus being so low to the ground, we couldn't put anything underneath, and it's already at maximum legal height, so of 13.6, so nothing could go on top. So the only place we could put the condensers was up here. So you have 1, so there's 4 air conditioning units, 2 for upstairs, 2 for downstairs. There's 1, 2, it's under a tarp, so it's hard to see, 3, 4, and then way up there at the top is a 350 Chevrolet radiator, and then this little Kubota pumps its hot water all the way to the top to that radiator, and that's the radiator for this engine. The bus engine, its radiator's in the very front, so it pumps its water all the way to the front of the bus. So I've been keeping it under a tarp. It's been here for about 4 years, and been keeping it under a tarp. Yeah, every bus we've ever had leaked, and this one's no exception. You know, you chase leaks, you'll stop one, then another one will appear. So it's always good for it to stay indoors or under a shelter or something like that. So we'll go inside. So this is the old original left-hand door. Because remember, it's a right-hand drive because everything's reversed over there. So you come inside. Now I got some power on. You come inside. The driver's area is right here. The little gear shift is right there. To shift, well, there's a mechanical logic gate. So you have to get it back over here first. So that would be first. That's reverse lockout, so you'd pull that. That's reverse. and then the logic gate makes you go to second, third, fourth, and fifth, right there. On this thing, fourth gear is out. The clutch bands that engage fourth are bad. They're worn down, and the auto adjusters can no longer adjust them. I do have another transmission that has a different bad part, but the clutch bands are good. So I do have parts for that. So this is turn signal right here, old factory turn signal. Parking brake, horn. This handle, everything's air operated. So this would be the left door. This is right door. This is switches, and interestingly, they're all backwards, where here, up is on and down is off, but over there, traditionally, up is off and down is on. That right there is the dump for the septic. And we added, so speedometer doesn't work, it's in kilometers an hour anyway. You're not going to speed because the top speed's 47. Set of 12 volt gauges, so there's a 12 volt system. All those gauges should work. Various switches for the clip lights and whatnot. Generator controls. Of course, this thing's really dirty right now because it's been sitting for 4 years, essentially untouched. And it just gets, I don't know, animals or whatever's getting in here, but, well, maybe not. But anyway, it's just, it's just dirty. That and the wear and tear from about 1,000 parties in 15 years. So this thing right here swings. Of course, the curtain's all tattered, but it goes, let's see. It goes here. And it has a lock, so that would lock. You can't really see. That would lock there. Here we go. That locks right there. And that keeps people from coming up and bothering you. It gives you a little space up here. And it also, there is a reflection on the windshield of the lights on the dance floor at night. And that was very distracting. So this curtain blocks the reflection off the windshield. Driver's door. It has the old original change thing where the driver would have taken change. And those little change things right here. You get in. You come over here, you sit down. And you've just got a gas pedal and a brake pedal. And typically how you drive it is once you get past second gear, you just hold it to the floor. You can literally hold it to the floor and just let it go through the gears. And the top speed is 47, which is funny because the speedometer goes to 80 on the mile per hour scale, which is kind of a joke. And I've never seen that speedometer work. I know the air pressure gauge does work, and the temperature gauges should work. This little valve right here is a radiator burp valve, and you have to burp the radiator to let the air that accumulates at the top of it out. So you have to burp it usually at the first of each shift. You got to burp it, and then you'll see a little bit of coolant get in the hose, and you have to close it. So these two vents are AC for the driver, and it pulls off the front AC, and there's a little pull chain right there that turns on a blower. This mirror is actually a periscope, and there's a mirror system that goes to the top, and the driver can see upstairs. It's only effective about the first third of the bus. As you come on back, this is our main dance floor area. DJ booth. They're in like a little cage, a little playpen right here as we called it. Got a little door that opens, so this door right here opens. And the DJ gets in there and they close the door. They've got all their controls and stuff. This right here, it has spinning poles, and the poles have brakes, so you can lock, and the poles would stop. So there's a base right here that you can get on, and you can easily spin around. And how the locks work is there's a PTO clutch off of a like a zero-turn mower, and half of it's welded. So when you apply electricity to it, the plates magnetically suck shut, and it locks the pole. So it requires power to lock. Otherwise, you can see they just free spin. You can ride on that little stage right there and go. So all up here is a light show, lighting and stuff. I'll turn some of that on. We just have the bright lights on right now. All the seating is the marshmallow style seating, which most of you have probably never heard of or seen before. They are backlit, so they do light up. We figured 20 people downstairs and 20 upstairs. Got the plasma plate display back here. That right there is actually a heater fan that pulls off the radiator, for the generator. The generator is inside of this box. You would pull some screws and you pull that panel off, and the generator's right there. Remember, the bus is extremely low to the ground. So the generator is actually sitting almost at floor level, and the bench was built around it, and then the cooling and all that was worked out. The generator, I know, needs a thermostat. It's been really reliable, but last time I tried, it's been sitting so long it just overheated, which of course I caught it. Back here, all this kind of mess. All the cords are just, the generator feeds a whole bunch of plugs, which are a little bit hard to see. They feed a whole bunch of plugs right there. And all these cords, they feed all the different things about the bus. And so right now, we're just plugged in. We're running on 3 cords, going down to 1 cord, going all the way to my house. I'm actually surprised that we're not getting enough voltage, because it's 500 foot of cord to come out here and make this come on, just to show you guys. It's a 12,000 watt generator. I think at any given time, we're only using about 4,000. We do supplement with electric heat, because the bus itself doesn't make enough really hot water for the heaters to work. So we do supplement with electric in the winter. Air conditioning. So this is the dance floor, and you can see how the floor's been cut out. So the floor would have been just like this all the way across, but this 4x8 section was cut out and raised, and this is a structural pole, and so is this one. So we raised it, and that gave us a spot for all the lights to go, and a central area for the dance floor. So there's not a whole lot of room in here, but it is very fun. Another interesting thing, see how the floor stays very, very low, but then it has these two things right here? The floor stays low all the way to the back seat. Now remember, where's the rear tires? Well, there's a wheel well, a massive high wheel well, and here is the other one. Well, how can the floor be so low with a rear end? Well, what they did was they went to the trouble to make a drop center axle with upside down portals. So the axle itself is extremely low to the ground. And this spot right here, that covers part of the differential. The differential sits off to the side, and that is a plate over the top of one portal, and then here's another portal underneath here, and they're upside down to make the axle extremely low to the ground and the tires real high. This plate right here, I cut that in the floor because you have to keep oil in the rear axle, and it's a lot easier to do it through the floor than to crawl under the bus. So you just pop that plate up, and there's a dipstick. So you check the rear axle oil. I do know that it does leak. These things have rope seals. It's old enough where a lot of the main seals are actually rope, like a ship would be, so there's an accepted amount of leakage, from what I was told. And it's just part of pre-trip. We just would always add oil if it needed it. On the right-hand side of the bus, there is another door. So this door right here, we had to have added. They cut out the floor, and the bus originally had 2 25-gallon fuel tanks on it. They removed one over in England, and they put a step in, got a door off, a matching door off of another bus, because these are uninsurable unless you put a door on the right-hand side, because the left-hand door would let people out in traffic and they might get hit by a car. That grate, there's a sub right there. There's a little access panel right there that goes to a, I put a fuel tank in there that the air conditioning and the generator runs off of, and they are both diesel. And there's a sight glass. If you have a flashlight, you can look in there and you can monitor the fuel level through a sight tube. So now I'll show you what it looks like with some of the party lights on. So you have lights shining down at the base of dance poles, doing a whole cool pattern. We've got these lights, which I always thought was cool. I made this thing out of an old light that they quit working internally, and just put a bunch of blinking Christmas lights in it, which makes a nice centerpiece. Of course, the fluorescents are actually LED, and that's your house lights for seeing to clean and do maintenance. There's a laser. There's a couple of GoPro projectors. There's some Chauvet. I guess there's Starburst or something. I don't think those work. It's probably just bulbs. And all the stuff is old. It's all really old. Couple of strobes. I think they work. I'm not sure. These are all black lights right here. So it does have some black lights. There's fans. There's some fans up in the ceiling that blow down on the people. And there's an air conditioner there, which two vents blow backwards on the dance floor, and then you have hoses that blow forward. And then the same thing here. Here's another air conditioner situated over the dance floor. And you've got a hose blowing backwards and another hose blowing backwards to get air to the back. TVs. We did have a camera feed from upstairs. People thought it was fun to see their friends. They kept tearing up the camera, though. So we haven't used those in a while. Nice clip speakers. I'm pretty sure those still work. The bus batteries, there would be one here and one underneath the DJ booth there. Of course, they've been pulled because it's been sitting for so long. And then and that's the 24 volt system. The 12 volt system is right here, and that battery's been pulled because it was shot too, and it was starting to corrode stuff. So that's required for the amplifiers, the gauges, the clip lights, various things like that run off of that battery. There's an inverter. It had to do with keeping the sound system up no matter what. Okay, so now we're going to finally go upstairs. And again, we're across from the original front left door. You immediately see the staircase. Those are AC lines and a bunch of wiring that, of course, we had to add to make it into a party bus. So you go up the stairs. It's a spiral staircase. You go up here. Now, with the tarp on the bus, you can't tell, but all the windows are clear up here, and it's a great view. It's a wonderful view. So we're looking at the front of the bus. You've got 3 seats here, 1 here. And here's the periscope thing I was telling you about. This periscope is a mirror system that the driver can look through, and then it hits this mirror, this parabolic mirror. It's effective to maybe to 1/3 of the bus, honestly. Got some neon. That'll light up when the 12 volt is on. The upstairs front air conditioner is housed in here. And I made vents. Couldn't really find any vents that I liked. Believe it or not, these vents are made out of cat food cans. So those are cat food cans that have been louvered by hand, and they were the perfect size for the ductwork to go to. Unfortunately, dummies dropped their keys down them and ripped one open to get his keys back without asking us, because I have a fish to get it out. Then I had to just I stuck some mesh on that one. Right here, a couple of trash cans. This is over the stairwell. It's unused space, so we made use of that. So if you remember, the raised section downstairs creates this area. So you have a couple of steps to go up here. The rear air conditioner is housed here. The return air for the rear air conditioner sucks through there. And it goes out these vents. It goes out that vent. And, well, there's some vents on the side. I'll show you in a minute. So, this is extra seating right here. We made some nice cushions. The idea with this was that you could see through this back to downstairs. And you can somewhat. It's just gotten so scratched. There's drains. There's a little gutter. And this is where we'd put a cooler. And they put their food trays. And this was a table that they would work off of. So to get to the back, you have to walk down this aisleway on the side, like this. You get to the back of the bus. You have the VIP lava lounge, and these were all lava lamps, but I had to take them out because they'll freeze. So those were all pulled. All the globes were pulled, and honestly, all the wax had gone bad over the years, and they won't even work when you the wax is just what they call dead wax. So these could be replaced with something else or just taken out completely. But the lava lounge was really cool. We figure about 10 people. The bathroom is right here. Just a typical RV toilet. There was lava lamps in here. You've got sort of a vanity right here and some light, some blue light around here. There's a sink, and it would have running water, old toilet paper. And those are all refrigerant lines coming from the air conditioner and plumbing and stuff like that. Instructions on how to flush the toilet because they could never figure it out, even though we would tell them how. So as you come on back into the VIP area, they do have their own pole. You've got a cooler that would sit back here. And these were giant lava lamps, but people were kind of hard on them. They never actually broke them, but they would beat the bases up. And those were plasma lamps. I'm not sure if they still work. They probably do. And the big globe would have gone up here, but I had to take those out again because they would freeze. The rear windows in the VIP area are tinted, but you can see out. It looks like the tint is showing its age, of course. There's a blower. If it's kind of nice weather, there's a furnace blower that's under here that is just an exhaust fan, essentially, that sucks a vacuum on the bus. So if it's nice weather and you want some ventilation, you can run that instead of the air conditioning. Those lights would have lit up back here in the VIP area. The water tank for the bathroom sits right underneath these two seats. The pump is right there. The pump, let's see. I pulled the filter, and the tank is aluminum, and the tank has been sending aluminum oxide over the years into the filter. So aluminum was probably not the best choice for a water tank, although you'd think it would be okay. So that's probably something that should have been plastic. The bathroom is all mirrored. You can kind of catch a glimpse of me. It's kind of cool. It's a mirrored box. And the ceiling height upstairs is 5'8", and the ceiling height downstairs is 5'10", except for, of course, over the dance floor, it's like 7 something. So we walk back forward. We'll show you going down the staircase. And then you can go back or you can go out. So here's what I know is wrong with the bus. I know fourth gear doesn't work. We drove it for a couple of years with no fourth, and we would just go from third straight to fifth. Sometimes you really need fourth, though. I do have the parts, but if it's just going to be a taco stand or a restaurant or an Airbnb, it doesn't matter. It's not worth the trouble to fix it. Power steering pump is weak, so if you're trying to maneuver in a parking lot and you're not rolling, it's pretty hard to steer if you're in a parking lot. Yeah, if you're in a parking lot and you're trying to maneuver, it's pretty hard to steer. But once you start rolling a little bit, it's fine. I think the power steering pump's getting weak. I probably have a pump somewhere. But again, if it's just going to be a taco stand or an Airbnb, it's usable. It's just a little. Well, sorry about that. I dropped my phone. It's just a little hard to steer until the wheels actually start rolling. Then you can steer. The front wheels are in this big wheel well underneath the stairs, and this big well right here is also the other front wheel. On the air conditioning controls, what you would do is you would turn on a battery switch at the back, and then this key at the DJ booth, you would hit the glow plugs, you would start it, and then you would see the speed come up on the tack, and that's throttle set. It's a cable that sets your throttle. And then there's an entire chart based on temperature and how many units you want to run, what RPM that you need to run to make enough horsepower, but not use excessive fuel. So there's a whole chart on where to set the RPM. And I bet you this air still works because it was all new components. The air conditioning was $16,000 in parts and 650 hours. The entire build was 2,500 hours of basically just me by myself for a year and a half. And including the purchase price of the bus, $150,000, all said and done. And then, but we've got 15, I don't know, we got from 2004 to 2020. So I guess 16 years or so. Back in the DJ booth, there's a mixing board right there. Back in the day, we were just running PCs, but you know, nowadays people just bring their laptop. And again, if somebody's, I suspect no one would ever use this as a party bus, mainly because of the insurance. The insurance is very high on anything with the word party in it. I bet we did 1,000 parties or better in this thing. And I drove a lot of them over the years. But, you know, I mean, it could be a restaurant or a bar or something. So the bus is 13.6, you know, and like about 8.5 feet wide. And it's about 30 feet long. So, and I know it weighs, with everything that's in it, it's 26,000 pounds is what it weighs. I know that. I can't really think of anything else to show you guys. So right now it is for sale. So this is May of 2025. It is for sale. We're asking $24,000. It's not for everybody. You know, it's really not. So, you know, it should probably be parked stationary somewhere and possibly under a shelter would be the ideal thing. But again, it was driven to here. So it, you know, with maybe several days of work, you could probably get it to run and probably get it to move. I'm sure fluids are low on it, but you have to check all that stuff. So back outside, sorry you can't see a whole lot. Tell you an interesting story. There's the original tag from when it was in England. It was used from 1979 to 2003. And one time we were downtown and there was a guy comes up to us. We were waiting on our group. We're downtown Nashville. A guy comes up to us and he's like, "That's my bus." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He says, "I drove this bus in England." I was like, "Do you mean this bus or a bus like it?" And he's like, "No, this bus." He said, "That's the number. I remember that number." So he was visiting from England. And what are the odds that the dude that used to drive my bus for 10 years happens to be visiting Music City, USA, and happens to see it out. Of course, you can't really see very much with it under the tarp, but I'll do a walk around for you. But that was wild because he got to see the inside and stuff. And he said when they retired this bus, it had 3 million miles. I think he said kilometers actually, but whatever it was a lot. Of course, you can infinitely keep changing the engine and transmission and any moving parts. You can just keep changing them. But that is a testament to how well these Bristols are made, that the frame and chassis and body can go that far with essentially no problems. And I know every square inch of this thing. And there are no cracks in the frame. You know, it's got rust, but it's not that bad. And the frame is super thick. It's like a 1/2-inch channel. I mean, it's a 1/2-inch thick flanges. It's extremely thick frame, and it's deep. It's probably 10 inches, something like that. It's nuts. So it's not in danger of snapping in half, that's for sure. So guys, check the description. Check the description in this video, and I'll put my email in there if anyone's interested in maybe looking at this thing. And I don't know. We'll see if it sells. If it doesn't, maybe I'm supposed to keep it. Maybe we'll do an Airbnb. But all right, thought you guys might enjoy seeing it.